everybody else and let them off and catch the big guys. And that's the only way we're going to end vote fraud in this country. It's got to be, it's got to be federal. It's got to be RICO lawsuits. It's got to be amnesty for low-level guys and full prosecution for high-level guys. And that's got to be broadcast before the election to terrorize these people. And I'm not shy about saying terrorize them, to terrorize them with the full force of law if they dare to try and steal this election. And I think if Trump does that, you'll rouse the base and you'll at least reduce what is coming.
Thank you very much, Trevor. R.C. Williams, is he there?
Yes, RC, go ahead and unmute. RC, can you unmute?
We're
here.
There
We go. There we are. Fabulous to see you both. Spotlight. Okay, great. You're up. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. R.C. Williams.
And I'm Julianna Ormond.
We are co-founders of Watchman Action. Pretty simple, right? There are great tools for conservatives on one side. There are the people on the other side. We bridge the gap between the two, and we provide trainings and systems to help people to utilize all of those tools. So Trevor did such a good job framing what part of what's going on. He also talked about Virginia, and Mark Lucas brought up something earlier on this call that's important. He said it's really hard for people to cheat if they know that you're watching. So let's talk about Virginia for a second, because it'll set the stage for what we're going to discuss going forward. In 2018, conservative poll watching turnout in Virginia was right around 6%. By contrast, in 2021, conservative poll watcher activity was at 94% or so. They still tried to cheat in 2021, but there were so many eyes on it that they're like, well, we may have to just let this one go. So you follow that up with what happened here in Florida last night. We actually had our primary. Voter turnout was about 15%.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, there's a nefarious plan here to get the people who are educated or understanding to become apathetic. Meanwhile, the other side of this conversation is rallying up the low information voter to get out there, and they say, look, democracy's at stake. We need to fix it. Now, everyone on this call probably understands this. What we're sharing with you is more for the people that you're trying to convince and you're trying to open their eyes. So I do actually have some good news. There are a couple of things coming up here that I want to share with you. Actually, starting this Saturday, there's a national Get Out to Vote boot camp going on. There's also a prep Get Out to Vote universe and script and like a precinct prioritization. Did you guys know this stuff was coming up? Probably not, right? Here's why. If you go to traindemocrats.org, that's the National Democratic Training Center. They are doing those events over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Do you guys see the challenge here? This is why we created Watchman Action, to help educate people. And this is why we wrote our book called Empowered to Act. So guys, here's what's been going on. And Raj had us on the Defend Florida call last month to discuss this. They are running the same game on us they've been running for the past 60 plus years. And it breaks down to 3 books. Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, The Communist Manifesto, and Sun Tzu's Art of War. When people asked us what they should do, we told them, listen, read the Communist Manifesto and you'll know exactly what's happening to you, and you'll notice they're running the same game. People didn't do it. So what we ultimately did is we wrote the antithesis or the antidote to Rules for Radicals, which is Empowered to Act. So what do? Let's sum it up. There are 3 key things that need to happen. 1 is effective communication. Now, somebody had mentioned earlier in the chat that they said, I can't believe we're 2 months away from the general election and we're still so scattered. If we don't tighten up our communication, not for us, because everyone on this call is already in, but for the people you're trying to reach and help them understand, our communication and our storyline has to be effective. What does this mean? Why does it matter? Why should I care? And what should I do? You've got to cover those 4 bases. We also have to innovate and adapt. Look, guys, we're good at the grassroots, but our messaging and the tools that we use, hey, we can't get on mainstream media. Fine, go through the side door, the back door, and the front door, all at the same time. But we've got to think creatively like the other side of the conversation does in order to make something happen.
And know that our target market is really the people that want to get active, but they don't know how to get active. They don't know what the tools are. They don't know where their like-minded people are. Like, you guys all know each other, and we're finding more people that need to find who we are, because they're going, I know that things are going on, and by default, if I'm not involved, I'm at fault for what's happening here. And they know that. So they are looking for, how do we get involved?
Yeah. And that leads to number 3. We talk a lot about embracing the next generation. Now, with due respect to everyone on this call, I wonder how many young and active grassroots conservatives are actually on this call. This can't be lip service for us, guys. This has to be life service.
That's right.
If we talk about trying to save the next generation and we don't involve them in the process, they're not going to get it. They're just going to say, hey, look, it's those old folks going off and doing their thing again, and maybe I'll catch up with it when they're all done and they've expired. We have to engage them now, because some of the tools and resources and understanding they have is going to be critical for us to win this battle. We spoke about a month and a half ago, and a young man in his early 30s walked up after we gave our presentation on Empowered to Act, and he said, listen, I want to get engaged. Give me 3 things I can do. The 3 things we gave him are the 3 things we gave you. He said, thank you so much. I have hundreds of friends that I can now go to with a simple message to help them understand what I've been trying to convey to them for the last 2+ years. Guys, we've got to get these 3 things right. If we're actually gonna solve this, we've got to get those parts right. We can control what we can control. We can't control what we can't control. And look, if President Trump gets in November, we're on a time clock.
That's right.
Right? We've got basically 3 years and 8 months, but it's even worse than that. So let's say that Trump gets in and we lose the House, right? Well, now we're locked up for 2 years, and then we've got 2 years left. We have to be thinking beyond 2024. Right. We have to be thinking about 2026 because it's already here. And we have to be thinking about 2028. What's next is mission critical. So if you guys want to learn more about all the stuff we're doing, we host a TV show on the Beck TV network called The Culture Crossroads every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys can go to watchmanaction.org. That's watchmanaction.org. We also have 2 publications through Substack. We do Sherlock Exposes, which publishes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we are the Watchman Weekly, where we equip the church to engage the culture. That publishes every Saturday morning. Again, the website is Watchman Action. That's WatchMen Action.org. Steve, guys, thank you so much for having us on. We deeply appreciate it.
Did you put your stuff in the chat?
We will